Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Grizzly on the Hunt with some information about Bigfoot and cryptids. Hello, Chris. How you doing there?
Howdy.
So let's
How you
see
doing?
here. We got Thomas. We got Pamela. Crazy Witch. Let's see here. We got everybody's jumping in. Yolanda. Welcome. Hello there. So what's been going on with you, Chris? Anything interesting lately?
I don't know. Just Bigfooting as usual. We went out for a night investigation last Friday night, but didn't have anything super exciting happen for us. But it's always good to get out in the woods, no matter what we do. Kind of get one with nature. So, how you
Right.
doing?
Any more, same old things, the dolls, things going, everything. Yes, Crazy Witch. And I was getting ready to do that for the show, and I decided not to. It took me forever to clean the monitors off. So, hello, Lady Wolf. Welcome. Glad to have you back. Yes. So, but yeah. So, any more tree structures or tree bends and stuff like that?
We didn't go too much hiking. We did a little bit, but we really didn't find anything significant this time around. We were in the green swamp, but we were checking out some new areas, and it was good. It was cool, but yeah, nothing super exciting. Um, I did dig up some other stuff to show and share. I don't know if you want to do that now or if you want to welcome in our
Yeah,
guest.
let's
I
do
don't
that
know.
now. And it's really got me thinking. It was when Norm was like, reminds me of the Poltergeist movie, right? So yes, but yeah. Go ahead, share what you got.
All right, let's see if I can remember it. Share the screen. We got a few things going on with the group. Present, share screen.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we do have our special guest here. We're going to bring on momentarily here about the Wendigo incident I've been always preaching about. So, and yes, I don't get it. That's one thing I do not want to encounter in the woods anywhere. So, yes, absolutely not.
Where is that one? Trying to find it. Forgive me for a second here.
No, take your time. I'm hitting a couple of buttons and
Okay,
trying to do a
well,
few
just
things.
just for fun. There we go. I got one of them. See if that'll work.
All right, here.
All right, so because it was Father's Day, just had to show this off. This was my daughter actually painted this for me.
Yeah,
She's
that's
14
really
years old,
good.
and yeah, that's a guess a UFO. We got a little alien hidden in the background, of course, Bigfoot. So just thought that was pretty cool. I thought I'd share it. Now, I was telling you back before I brought it up a few times about the chain link fence in Mike's area.
Yeah.
And this is a 6 foot fence, and this is a big enough hole for Marie's actually crawled through here. Mike and I might get stuck. I could probably make it if I tried, but something ripped the bottom of this chain link fence up to the point where it is stuck in this position. I mean, you can see it stretched. I mean,
Oh,
these
yeah, you
lines are
sure can.
stretched. I mean, I sat there, me and Mike both pulling both sides to see if we could even get it moved any further, and it won't. You just can't budge it. If anybody's
Red
worked with
Bull
chain link,
won't give you wings enough to do that, Sir Chris.
no, it's crazy. I mean, to stretch this stuff, you have to use a come along and something solid, just to get it to stretch out. Let alone something strong enough to pull that. I mean, first thing when I saw this go through my mind, like, okay, well, Incredible Hulk walk through here and rip this open. I mean, what is strong enough to actually lift all this? I mean, there's no animals that are around. Even if there is a bear, you'd almost have to have two hands and pull it upwards. So I always thought that was a really cool find, and we know right where it's at. We every time I pass by there, I just shake my head and wonder what the hell did that. Um, a little bit further down the road on the same fence line, there was a spot this happened more recently in the past couple months. This all got knocked down. This was all fine. There's no tree here. It almost looks like you would think this is like a tire mark, but there's actually a little tree in here. There's no way to get vehicles back here for one, but B, this is actually an animal trail that has been coming through here, and we even found some deer hair on the the fence, there's a little bit of barbed wire on there, and some of the deer hair was stuck on there. We actually think that something might have been using this as a force point to maybe catch prey. I don't know. But it's really
You never
odd
know.
how this was all knocked down. But right next to it is another spot. That part that is down is a little further down here, and over here is a spot that's pushed down. Right, this whole section is just pushed down like something big, either sat its butt on it, or stepped on it, or something, and then also bent this completely over. Mind you, there's no trees, no nothing that has fallen on this.
Well,
Right? We just
if
met.
something stepped on it, it'd be more like a V as in Victor shape.
Yeah, I mean it's about a I think about an 8 foot run between post to post. But yeah, I mean it's a really weird situation there, and that's again the top of the fence post. You can see this is the barbed wire here. There's 3 runs that run through this, and they just took that whole piece and bent it right over whatever it was. Again, it'd make more sense if I saw a tree laying on this, but there's nothing. There's just nothing there.
Wow. Yolanda wants to know, would you find any hair or footprints in that area?
We did not. There's not a lot of spots to find, but we did find hair that was deer hair on the part that was knocked down. We'll show you a couple of things I've got set up here.
Oh, that's
Window.
wild.
Let's see.
Rebecca says deer has been taking steroids again. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. There's your answer.
Yeah, right. Maybe they got a hold of some of that deer cocaine.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right, so I'm
Say
going to share
what?
something. I'm going to share something here and see if it lets me jump screens. Go ahead and share that. All right, so there's a magazine that's been going on that we kind of became a little bit part of. Here's Marie showing off one of the upcoming magazines. Let me see if this lets me. Okay, it does show this. So here's actually one that's out. It's on Amazon. The Florida Bigfoot Mystery Magazine. And if you click on it, you'll actually see our group and some. There's Marie with some of the big guys from the conference, and this is our group on it. And it actually has us featured in there quite a bit. There's 108 pages of just all kinds of Bigfoot topic, skunk ape. It goes through a lot of different things, different stories throughout. Pretty interesting, but I figured I'd share that.
That's pretty neat. Yeah.
And then we also had Mike and Marie both had been featured on Linda Eastburn, and she's interviewed both of them, which this is pretty cool. I can share this link in the chat, both for her and him. Actually, that's not hers, but this is his. So here's Mike talking, and he shares his whole story. It's an hour long. He goes through all his encounters, pretty in depth and details. A really good interview. Something to definitely check out if you guys haven't seen or heard his stories. And then Marie's got a really cool one too. It's also about an hour long.
That's
And
awesome.
then I don't know if you want to do this later on, or do you want to pull in our
Yeah,
guest?
let's
But
bring our guest on. Yeah.
we
Where
have some
everybody's
cool AI art that I want to show later on.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
But
ladies and
I want to
gentlemen,
hear this story.
welcome Nate and his daughter. Introduce yourselves. You're live.
Twisted
All right.
Witch here. And then this is my dad, Nate.
Nate Mulligan.
How you doing, Nate? Nice to see you again. So, tell us a little bit about your old selves.
Well, you know a little bit about me, so I want to let him do his.
All right.
Ain't a whole lot to tell about me. I just drove up in the mountains and seen a lot of crazy things in the mountains that people don't believe I've seen. They just call me liar, and I said, well, you just have to call me what you want to, because I know what I've seen face to face. I used to
take us back to that day that happened and explain to us.
Well, it was back in probably 78, 79. I was trapping for foxes and everything I could trap for. And I was way back in the mountains, probably about 4 or 5 miles. And I caught a fox in a live trap. I could hear it squalling. This is about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. I could hear it squalling. When I got to it, it was squalling real loud, and I heard something behind me. And buddy, let me tell you something. When I turned around, I heard it squall. It made my hair stand up on my head, on my neck. And I seen two big red eyes. And I said, well, I'll go let the fox go. And when closer I got to that cage and let that fox go, the louder it got. And the closer it got to me. And I said, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. And evidently I was taking its food from its grocery store. Instead of me getting it, I let go. I let the fox go. And I started walking away. As I walked away, it followed me. And I thought, well, maybe I can just get a little further ahead of it, and a little further ahead of it. And the further I went, the closer it got. So I took off sort of like a jog. And I run for probably 500 yards. And where I come around a hillside to come to where my traps was, there's a bank about 150 feet straight down. So I looked around and it was within 25, 30 feet behind me. And I jumped over that bank. And when I jumped over the bank, it just stood right there on top of the bank and just squalled and made a big noise and showed itself like, I'm the king here, not you. You get out of my property.
What did it look like?
When I fell down over the bank, he just stood there and screamed at me. And I got up and moved on down through there. And he shut up for a few minutes. Then I looked up and all I could see is red eyes. I could see his face just like looking at my own. I mean, he had a long snout. He got a long snout, got ears with horns and red eyes, and he's about that wide and about 8.5, 9 feet tall.
Damn.
Wow, that's crazy.
What kind of noise did it make? Was it like a screaming noise, or?
It was a real screech noise. I mean, it wasn't nothing like a bear. I've heard bears and a wildcat scream and holler. Nothing. That wasn't nothing to even compared to none of that.
Was it like a long, deep
It was
scream?
a long pitch howl, Wah! I mean,
Wow.
when it let you know it was there, it was there.
You getting yelled at.
It looked like a goat snout on it, and you could see its teeth. You could see its teeth, all right here, and it was just sitting there just hollering and squalling. I mean, it was probably that wide. It was probably 3.5, 4 feet wide, 9, 8, 9 feet tall, probably 600, 700, 800 pounds.
What kind of body did it have?
It had a lot of black hair all over it.
Kind of like legs, like human legs, or type of.
It had big legs.
It was bipedal.
And it was had big arms, and it walked. I mean, it didn't walk like a regular person. I mean, it just
ungulated.
Yeah. It freak you out, man. I mean, when he steps, he don't step like us. He just, like he's lunging towards you. Damn. Long black hair all over him.
Wow.
Just even thinking about that, I mean, how many years did it take you to come forward just to even talk about it?
Well, from 78 or 79 till when I talked to you about it.
Wow.
That's probably 80, 90, 2000, almost 40-some years, 45 years. Because I know if I said something about it, somebody said, oh, that's a lie, you're making that up. Well, I'm sorry. That's something you don't make up when you see something face to face like that. Nobody can make up something like that.
Yeah, no. Like I said, I told you before, there's things on this earth that should not exist that walk upon this earth, and it's just, I'm glad that I never encountered something like that. So
it scared the crap out of me, I'll tell you that.
And where we live in Florida, you were just talking, showing the magazine about the skunk ape. He used to work at the landfill down here in Orange County. And I mean, he would have to go in at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and there would be nobody there except for him. And he would run a dozer, and he had an experience at that time too.
I seen something great big carry a 200-pound hog off, just pick it up, go it under its arm, just carry it off through the woods.
Wow.
That's down here at the Orange County landfill.
Where did you see this Wendigo?
I saw him in Virginia where I used to trap and live on the farm over all the time.
Man, that's insane. I'd be scared out of my mind. I don't even know what to think.
I can see him right now. I mean, I can close my eyes and see exactly where I was at, and I can see him right in front of, right behind me. When he was coming close, and I was trying to. It seemed like the faster I run, the closer he got. I couldn't get away from him fast enough. I just
looking back,
think.
do you feel like you were actually in danger, or do you feel like you were just being chased out?
I think I was just being chased out of his territory because I was getting his food. That's what I told Grizzly. I said, I think I was in his territory, invading his territory where I didn't need to be, and taking his food from him, and he didn't like that.
It's not the first time I've heard of hunters being chased out of areas, so it wouldn't be surprising.
Beat all, I had a 270 rifle and a 44 Magnum pistol on me. And I thought I would shoot it, and I said, no, if I do that, I would pee him off and make it worse. So I just said, I'll just leave him alone. I tried to ease out, and he followed me, and I just run out. And I've never been back there. And I left probably $600 or $700 worth of traps in the mountains. I never went back and got.
Probably a good call. Probably a good call not shooting at him either.
No, I wasn't going to shoot him. I thought about it, but I said, no, it might make him mad, or, he might be protecting his family or something like that, And I said, well, if I shoot him, all he want to do is do a test on him and this, that, and other. I said, I'll just let him go if he'll let me go. So I just left there.
Wow, that's crazy. I just cannot imagine going through an instance like that. So,
and I've seen my fair share of Bigfoots, and what I think at some point to this day, I believe was a skinwalker, and it absolutely terrified me.
Well, tell us.
Yeah, it's all about you all.
We lived in a town in Tennessee, which is where we're originally from, called Cookeville, Tennessee. And we lived in a small town in Baxter, and we lived out in the woods in the middle of a field. It looked like a nice little golf course, and our house was right in the middle, and out towards the back was some woods. And I was 10, 11 years old, and we didn't have bears at where we lived. There was the only thing we had was mountain lions, cougars. As far as big wildlife, we didn't have that. And I was outside playing, and I seen something in between two trees perfectly just standing there. And I stood there for a second trying to tell myself, am I seeing what I'm seeing? And it had to be every bit of 8-9 foot tall. It was broad as it was wide. And it just stood there, and all of a sudden it turned. But when it turned, it went from being bipedal, and then it turned down, and it turned into a dog and then ran off. And then him and my mom had went out there, because I ran inside. I'm like, I just seen something. I don't know what it was. And I was like, I'm terrified. There's something out there. And it was staring at me. It was stalking me. And they went out there, and they had seen the footprint. And the footprint was every bit of 20, 30 inches. I mean, the thing was huge. But it went from a Bigfoot to a dog in a matter of seconds.
Well, they've been known to do the spider crawl.
Yep.
Which is pretty creepy looking too. Have you ever seen them on video?
Yeah, and skinwalkers they can shapeshift into anything: humans, animals, anything. And to become a skinwalker, you have to kill one of your family members or a human.
Ooh. So where do you think you saw a skinwalker? What was that experience?
I lived in West Virginia for a year, and I was by myself, living with my boyfriend at the time, and we lived up in the mountains, and they were at work, and I was left home alone. And we had 4 or 5 dogs outside, and they were raising all matters of Cain. And I could look out this big bay window that we had in the living room, and I couldn't see nothing. And they just kept going like crazy and crazy and crazy. So I turned the porch light on. I'm looking outside. I don't see nothing. And then all of a sudden, it just went quiet. I mean, there was no birds. There was no crickets. There was no nothing. And I could see off into the distance a pair of red eyes. And it was down on all fours. And then all of a sudden, when it stood up, it took the form of like a human, because it was just on 2 feet, but it had the figure of a person. And I'm like, okay, maybe my eyes are, playing tricks on me. My mind's, making me psych myself out. I'm not really seeing what I'm seeing, because when you get scared, your mind plays tricks on you. But so I went back inside and I'm like just staring out the window, and the dog started raising Cain again. And the next thing I know, it started walking towards the dogs. And when it did, it went back into what looked like a cat or a panther or something, and straight up slaughtered all 4 of the dogs, and then took off in the blink of an eye, like it was gone. And I'm just staring at the window praying like it does not sense me, it doesn't smell me, nothing, because it wouldn't have took much for that to come in. And then it'd been done. I was terrified.
Wow.
That's crazy.
The stuff I've seen is ridiculous.
That's pretty scary.
A lot of these encounters, people are actually encountering ones that live out in the woods or in the mountains.
Yeah.
In Cook County, Tennessee, we just did a show on about those dogs that attacked that female.
Yep.
Back in 2021, I think. So yeah. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Speaking of that Wendigo that I seen, we used to have probably 250 head of cattle, and we got the cattle and calves missing, and we found a big pile of bones back in the mountains, back in there where I was trapping.
Really?
Yeah.
Found a kill site then, basically.
Yeah, exactly what it was.
Evidently, I was in it invading its kill site or its breakfast table or something, and it got aggravated and it come after me, and like I said, I started to shoot it, and I said no, I'm just going to try to slip away from it, and I ain't been back in the mountains since.
No, and he's not scared of anything, and for him to be scared of that was shocking.
I've trapped bears, I've trapped coons, I've trapped foxes, bobcats, wildcats, panthers, everything I could trap and kill and catch. I did it all. But when it come up to that thing, no, I ain't been back. And that was back in 78 and 79.
He did his job. He instilled that fear in you.
Yeah.
He wanted you gone and not to come back. And
yep,
exactly what he did.
Not very many people get to encounter a creature like that, and it's Indian old folklore, right?
Yeah.
And so it's very interesting, and they're very protective of the land. Very protective. I think it's
pronounced I-am-U-Al-Now-D-C-I. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but that's
something like that, yeah.
Cherokee for skinwalker.
Yeah. So that's pretty amazing. Yeah, I never encountered a skinwalker before either. I don't want to. I'm good with that. Bigfoot and other stuff I'm all right with to a certain extent, but
I mean, I see ghosts, but that doesn't bother me. But seeing those kind of creatures, that's a whole nother thing.
It's all different when you go in the mountains in the daylight because you can see everything. But when you go in the nighttime, you can't see nothing but where your light's shining. And I know your mind's going to play tricks on you, but my mind wouldn't play no tricks on me that night. That morning, I went back to check my traps. I seen it.
And I believe you. Absolutely, yeah.
What they want to. I can't help it. And like I said, you asked me how long it's been. It's been 78 to 79, and you're the very first person I try to tell about it because I know people wouldn't believe me. They'd make fun of me or ask me what kind of dope I was taking. I said, I was going to take something you ain't going to get.
Yeah. Yeah. Thomas wants to know, have you ever seen a Dogman in Tennessee?
I haven't.
I can't say that I've seen a Dogman in Tennessee, but I have seen what they call the Wampus Beast in West Virginia.
And what did that look like?
A Wampus Beast, you know, I've seen panthers, cougars, you know, I mean, they're good sized cats, but this one was easily 500 or 600 pounds. The paws are the size of a coffee can. I mean, these things are huge. And it would go from like almost a low, like growl up to a scream. And when it screamed, it would make your blood run cold. And it was outside, and I just happened to glance at it, and looking at it, I mean, it had just the reddest of red eyes, and it was just like looking into the eyes of Satan. I mean, it wasn't looking at you, it was looking through you, and it knew that you could see it, and it wanted to let you know it was there, and then that was it. I mean, there was no anything.
Wow.
I was seeing the big black.
Why did these things always have red glowing out of the eyes, like actually glowing, like producing light?
I don't know. It's something about the red eyes. I'm in Southwest Virginia. Yeah, see, I was in Princeton, West Virginia, Crazy Witch. That's where I lived, was Princeton, West Virginia, and what's that county called? Bluefield.
Wow. Yeah, because you don't hear a lot of people talk about the Wampus Beast or, you know, the Wendigo at all.
No.
I mean, you read about it. You read about the folklore and the Indian folklore and the heritage and stuff like that. But I probably would empty out everything I had and probably have been slaughtered. Yeah, that's mean. I don't know. I showed a clip on the last show of my cousin Vinny where they were sleeping in the old cabin out in the middle of the woods, and the screech owl was screeching, and the guy come out with the pistol and start shooting up in the air or out the door. That's me. That's, you know, get scared away, right?
Mm-hmm.
But,
Hopefully, right?
The red eyes. You know, yeah, Thomas. It's anything with red eyes is always associated with the evil, right? So demonic or whatnot. So Peyote is used for the skinwalkers to help them change. So I heard.
Yeah,
that is true.
The Cherokee Indians, they were terrified of skinwalkers. I mean, and it took a lot to scare them, but that was one of the things that they feared the most, besides the spear finger. And to this day, I mean, the legend of the spear finger is still going strong.
They won't even talk about a skinwalker. They don't even use the word. They won't even utter the word.
They're afraid that if they say it, it'll come for them and it'll kill them.
I made that mistake by talking to a Cherokee once, and I brought that up, and I thought he was going to have a heart attack and shoot me.
Standing stones. The legend says a skinwalker always starts out as someone that's human, that has to kill a relative or something, and it becomes a skinwalker. That's how you have to commit murder. And a woman had become a skinwalker and killed her entire family.
No, I'm just going off what I know. Anytime that you see things with red eyes, usually it's evil. I don't know anything that does not have red eyes. It's not evil. I'm not saying it does not exist, but usually if you talk about the biblical reference or you talk about good versus evil, then yes. And usually red stands for demonic or evil. So, but I mean, yes, skinwalkers can shapeshift. Absolutely.
They can shapeshift to almost anything. And I think the majority of the stuff that I've seen was, as my son says, because he's afraid to say skinwalker, he'll say SW, because he's afraid the more you say it, the more they'll come. So majority of the stuff that I've seen, I do believe has been skinwalkers.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Wow.
Look like right
Well, ladies and gentlemen, another edition of Grizzly's on the hunt for anything. It's local sightings, Bigfoot, and cryptid related. This edition is brought to you by Western Kentucky Bigfoot and Paranormal Investigations, LLC. Thank you, Mr. Don Wyden, for another edition. Yes, Lady Wolf, I do agree with you. Red eyes equals bad things. But it's just, I don't know, man. It's, having that encounter, I've talked to a lot of people that have different encounters throughout their lifetime, and it's just incredible, I couldn't deal with it. I would be on meds. I'd be on something. I couldn't sleep at night. I would have nightmares. Did you have nightmares for a long time, or do you still have nightmares?
With me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I can close my eyes sometimes at nighttime and just see it right there beside of me, behind me.
You still got nightmares, dreams about it, and terrors, and
yeah.
Probably makes the hair on your neck stand up when just thinking about it.
Sure does. Sure does. And I mean, I ain't afraid of nothing, and that scared the crap out of me. I never seen nothing like that in people. I always was a non-believer, but not no more. I believe it all, because I've seen it. I've been there.
And that's the thing, and and I said this for years now, and it's, if you believe in one thing, you're gonna have to believe in the other things, and a lot of people don't agree with that. And I was the one that kept drawing the line in the sand, right? I'm not going to cross this line. And every time I would say that, I would have to take that line and erase it and then move that line forward. And I just quit putting the line in the sand. Is because you can't have people across this world that tell you encounters and stories that they have. And, we know little Johnny's out there causing hell and havoc. Now, if I was little Johnny and I saw you back in the 70s, and I saw you had a rifle, I know most likely people back then had 44s in the country. We know why we carry 44s, because of bears and bigger, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am not going to take a chance getting shot, and they're playing a joke on people. But there's some things that you cannot actually duplicate and replicate to make something to look real when it's not. And that's my point on that. And ladies and gentlemen, I have ran before for being scared and not realize how far I've ran, and not even realize I was out of breath because of the adrenaline. So if you've never been in that situation before, it is not a good situation to be in. And
no, it's not. I've seen my fair share of, paranormal stuff, and then I've seen my fair share of cryptid stuff, and I've been more terrified of the cryptid than I have the paranormal. And I've seen my fair share of malevolent spirits in the paranormal world.
I can understand, yeah. And a lot of people don't know actually too, you do have abilities. So and usually some reason people with abilities are more open to different encounters.
Oh yeah.
So Thomas says, I'm too old to run. Well, you know what? You'll be surprised. Things that Thomas, I agree with you on that. But I'm just saying.
You can move faster than you think, Thomas.
Yeah, that's my point exactly, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, Lady Wolf, my heart is currently racing. My head hurts me. Never get over or past. I couldn't. I definitely do that to myself, Yolanda. 100% crazy witch says, yeah.
It's traumatizing. Having experiences like that can be completely traumatizing. I mean, I can only imagine seeing a skinwalker kill 4 dogs in split second inside.
16 when that happened, and I'm like, you're 16 years old, you're a teenager, you're imagining stuff, but the way it just happened so fast. I mean, it went from being 8-9 foot tall down to being on 4 legs and massacred dogs in a matter of 20 seconds and was gone before I even had time to realize what was going on. Like, I couldn't imagine being outside. Like, it would have been on top of me and I would have been dead before I could have blinked or breathed.
Wow.
There ain't nobody can dress up like that thing I seen and chase you like it did and scream like that. I don't care who it is or what. They ain't no human going to do that.
Mm-mm. Yeah, you're probably right about that.
No, I totally agree. And I greatly appreciate y'all taking the time coming on the show and stuff. I told Nate I'll definitely have him back on. You know, it's real important to get to tell people, because you're not the only one. There's other people who are afraid to come forward and tell their encounters because of what happened to you. I was telling Chris that and some other ones that I was furious when that happened to you. And that's why people don't want to come out and talk about their encounters.
Yeah, there's no need for all that.
No, I mean, because I've been seeing spirits since I was 7. I mean, and right now, I mean, my abilities have grown so much over the years that even today, people's like, you know, that's not, I mean, how do you do that? Like, you can't do that. They're like, well, yeah, I can. Like, I've done readings. Like, I've been on the podcast and I've done readings. I can look at somebody and I can do their readings and I can tell them, like, this is what's going on.
Well, I'm finally glad that I found somebody that I can open up to that would believe what I say. And y'all believe me, and I appreciate your time. And, you know, I'll be glad to come back on the show and talk about it more and more.
No, absolutely.
Chris,
yeah.
Invite me, whatever, talk to me. I'll be glad to talk to him or anybody.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. We greatly appreciate you having you. Stick around and watch the show. We're getting ready to talk about some other things. But thank you again. I greatly appreciate it, guys.
See
All
ya.
right, bye-bye. Isn't that wild? I mean, that is crazy. I couldn't deal with that. There's no way. I'd have been probably running and shooting, and behind my head something ignorant falling.
Right.
But once again, you know, people are afraid. They got high caliber weapons, firearms, whatnot, and they're afraid because, you know, if they try to shoot one, what's going to happen? Are you going to make it mad, or is the brothers and sisters, aunts, uncles going to come out? I mean, look at all the counters and stories that we heard that people took a pop shot at one and wounded one, and the others come out of nowhere to defend it. So,
yeah, I mean, anybody's been around hunting like that knows if you shoot certain animals, if you don't get them in the right spot first off, you're just going to piss them off. I mean, even down to a hog, it's the same way. But you got something that big, you don't even want to take that chance.
People go hog hunting. Always have 2 people hog hunting, and one on the standby just in case the other one misses while it charges at you. Now, why in the hell do people want to go bow hunting on a bear? I have seen too many horrible YouTube videos with people at 25 yards shoot a bear with a bow, an arrow, and it's like, why? That is not an adrenaline rush that I want to go through, because if you don't hit it right where you should, that bear's coming at you. It ain't going to run the opposite direction, ladies and gentlemen.
Same thing with a hog. If you don't get in the right spot, you better be ready. It's coming for you.
Well, we have a hog problem in Kentucky, Chris, and they actually opened it up. I think was it last year before last, and the Fish and Wildlife is like, kill them all. That's how bad it is. And there were people, and I'm telling you, man, some of the videos they come up with is that, you know, they would shoot it 2 or 3 times, and that thing would turn 200 or 300 pounds, come at you, and it would take 2 other people to drop it before it got right on top of your feet. Before it was going to take you out, and it's just like, nope, I'm good.
I was watching one. There's like 3 or 4 hunters together, and there had been 20, 25 of those things charging at them. They didn't see how it ended, but I'd like to know. They were trying to shoot them. Yeah, they were trying to shoot them all, but they had more than they could take down. So
yeah,
I'm sure that's
why you see a lot of them hunt for trucks or from trucks, from vehicles. You know, where they are a platform or something, or in the bed of a truck, and that way they don't get attacked. You know. But yeah, Thomas is like, testosterone, Yolanda, yeah, I don't know, I couldn't do it. Now, I've never been hog hunting. You know, I used to be a deer hunter for many years, you know, and but I've hunted everything.
Yeah, but at least if you miss a deer, it's not going to come running at you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
A hog's coming at you. I mean, that's just plain and simple. And if there's other ones, they may come at you anyways. And usually they come. You know, normally there's several of them. It's not just one. More often than not.
There you go, Thomas. Thomas must have been hog hunting before. He knows the formation.
There you go. Yep. Triangle
that's
formation.
Just crazy. Yeah, that's just crazy. Ladies and gentlemen just don't understand it. So yeah. My dad sent you a picture with exactly seeing the woods. You want to share it with everyone? Yeah, I'll share it. Let me bring up my Facebook here. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, don't ask me why I did not have. What did I tell you? Didn't I show this picture? I think I actually showed this picture. Let me stand by and hit a couple of buttons here, and we will share what he just sent me. And I think I showed this picture before. I could be wrong, but we'll find out here. Which tab is it now? Was it a window? Yeah, here we go. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I'm good.
You have that thing chasing you.
No, I'm good. Now just put the red eyes in that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, thank you
Yeah.
anyway.
So I could not handle that. And then we talked to Val and other people that have seen Bigfoot wearing horns and stuff, and it's just like, do they have horns? And some of them said they do. So I mean, I don't know.
The
They
Bigfoot with the
they
deer
were
skull.
teaching us. I'm sorry, Chris. They were teaching us, Thomas, the diamond formation and the T in the active shooter, but they took all that away when too many people were getting. I don't want to say murdered, but killed. That's when they went to law enforcement. Either when you get there, you go in and take care of business by yourself if you had to. But yeah. But oh yeah, hell Yolanda. So hell no, I'm good. No, if I'm good with Grizz, I'm good. No flipping way. I had my fill. Yeah, that's right. So, and then people want to laugh at me because I don't want to go in the woods, especially by myself. And when you have Cherokee and whatever else indigenous tribes and ethnic nations say, don't go in the woods by yourself, it's not a good idea. And it's like, and then you want to know why I don't do it. So no, I'm good.
This is why we go with the team. It's
Yeah.
less likely to happen, but you never know. I mean, that looks straight demonic to me. I mean, and then the red eyes. I mean, come on. I'm running.
I'm telling you,
I'm running.
everything I've ever come across with red eyes, what's either in a horror movie, a book, religion, no matter what type of religion it is, you can name them all. It's always, demonic. So, Grizz, gone good. Because if you go in the woods with me, we're going to act like we're going to Vietnam or something, the way I carry stuff. Yeah, you
Might
better
have been,
believe it.
there might have been some juvenile Bigfoot that threw a damn deer head on its head, and I'm going to chase this guy around. No, I don't know. That thing looked creepy though. That's all I can think.
That
I don't
tall.
know. Yeah,
Yeah,
right. I
no.
mean,
No. So what else you got for us? You had a bunch of other stuff I see brought up.
a couple of things I had. Actually had. I gotta open it back up again. Told you I was playing with the AI art,
Yeah.
and I had made a bunch of. This is a long time ago, but I figured I'd share just for fun what I had made over some time. So hold on, let me present share screen. All right, just for fun. This is artificial intelligence art, and these are some of the older ones I made. I don't know why the thing blacks out when I hover over it, so I got to kind of stay off the grids here. So I kind of started playing with it, and then here's how it works. You come over here. So if I want to say reuse a parameter, this one was real basic. I just told it to make me a Sasquatch in a cypress swamp, and I didn't go too far with it. But you'll see some of the further ones I get a little more complex with it. So whatever you put in the prompt and tell it that you want to generate, it's going to kind of create its own, and you can turn up the level of art. If you want to keep it closer to the description, or you want to kind of veer off and be really creative, you can tell it to do so. So here's a couple of them. I started. This is actually Patty. So I uploaded a picture of Patty, and it generated this. I don't know why it's missing its leg, probably because she is in the picture because it's behind a log.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of missing. But that one came out pretty cool. Here's another one that was Patty, but see how I turned up the art a little bit, and all of a sudden it changed the face to all kinds of weirdness. You know what I mean?
Right.
So come back here. This was just one I just gave it some parameters and just made some kind of cool stuff, a little different. And you'll see when you make a run, I can have it generate multiple. This one I've got it set right now to do 2, but you can run like 5 or 10 images at a time on a set of parameters. So you'll see these runs are all kind of similar to each other. And if you like what it's creating, you just kind of generate a few more to see if you like anything more. You'll see how these all look a little different. It's just a different run. So you try to, if I use the parameters, look here, here more complicated parameters. You can actually tell it to be inspired by the Patterson Gimlin film. Bigfoot should have a menacing, intimidating, can't speak, appearance with the coarse hair, blah, 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 blah. So you can get into it. These are more realistic because they're blurry, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, just kind of cool. Go down here a little bit further. I'll show you some. I took Marie. Marie actually had used this picture. She kind of imitated Patty, and I just kind of just played with it a little bit, and it made some funky pictures. This is actually off of that same picture, and I got a little more artsy with it, and it's how it created that. And for whatever reason, it likes to take Marie and make her look like a little boy. There's another one there. And you'll see what I'm saying. This is actually Marie. This is our group picture of us. There's Marie on the right-hand side. And you'll see these pictures all kind of look like little boy. I don't want to turn her into a Bigfoot. I was trying to get it to turn all of us into a Bigfoot, and it was struggling. It could not get her for some reason. And then some of these made us look like we're hillbillies and rednecks. It's pretty funny. Yeah, some of these pictures. This is the main picture that we use right here, and just trying different parameters. It's kind of crazy what it does, but you see how Marie just looks like a boy most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I was picking on her, making fun of her. There she is again. Her and Ruby. This is actually Mike and David Shealy. Pictures down here. That's the picture. I was trying to get them to both be a Bigfoot, and it was going to do like one or the other. Not too many of them. Like that one kind of came out, but and then in some of them you can give it different parameters, like that's cartoon versus, digital versus realistic looking. So I was having a hard time getting both of them to come off with like a Bigfoot face. But it just did different kinds of parameters. It's kind of cool. That's actually a couple of me. Then that's Marie right here. Again, trying to make her into a Bigfoot. Looks like a Frankenstein on that one. Pretty neat what it generates, comes up with. This is her again, I think, and it turned her into a guy. With that, I guess that fluffy hair of hers made her a mohawk. These are some of me. That's one of my pictures. And we got some Grizzly coming up here too. There we are. Here's some Grizzlies. I think this is cool. It actually made you like a realistic person, even though this is the picture I used.
Yeah,
remember that one?
I remember sending that to you. Yeah.
And then, of course, we got some other ones. And as you see, I play with the parameters, and then it started getting into this, which these came out pretty cool. I like these. I like how it enhances your beard because, it's got that lighter color, and it just picked up on that for whatever reason and ran with it. Then I like these here, the Western Bigfoots. And believe it or not, this one's actually you as a Western Bigfoot, Mr. Grizzly.
Oh wow.
And
Yippee-ki-yay!
I use this picture, so I'm gonna go ahead and generate some right now just for fun,
Oh my lord.
and just see where I should do it here. Do newer stuff on top. Oh, that's it. Yeah, just generate those two. Just do another two. Just to watch it come up. So these are yours. Your picture on the same parameters. That one actually looks pretty cool. Yeah, those are all you.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
a little short and stubby. But yeah, this is just some Bigfoot fun. Thought I'd share that.
And they're actually using this to make Bigfoot to pass them as real photographs, though, too. Now I noticed.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you look around, you've seen some of the ones that are like an old Bigfoot standing next to some Indians or some older people. It looks like an old image back in the early 1900s or whatever. It's just old. If you find several of them, which I have, they're off of a run that somebody created. You can tell AI make me like an old antique picture, taken, and all you gotta do is tell it what you want. It'll the more specific about it that you tell it, the more it's going to generate what you're looking for. So,
that's wild.
Kind of cool.
That's wild.
But yeah, as they get more and more real, and I've sent you some pictures of what my buddy made. One was what was it? I think we talked about it maybe in the last show, the Tomb Raider, and
yeah,
the thing looked like a real person, looked like a real lady. I mean, it's like, so that makes you have to think about these things as you see pictures on the internet now. You can't just say, yeah, sure, that's real. I mean, it looks real. It's got to be real because so many things are faked. It's crazy. It's hard to tell what's actually real or not. I was watching a special on giant bones, and there's one point in time in history, I don't know how long ago, but they had a Photoshop contest of creating giant bones or the discovery of giant bones. So an archaeologist like uncovered a giant bone, and so the internet is littered with all these pictures of fake giant bones. So to decipher what you start seeing as real and not real makes it more difficult. What better way to cover stuff up though to do that, right?
Yeah, it
and
is.
Now you can just say, "Oh, that's all fake." It's easy to say that now.
Yeah, just like our president.
Careful, you might get flagged again.
Yeah, I probably will.
With his earlobes that are all sagging, and yeah, it's hard to tell. I mean, things have been CGI with that too, the deep fakes. So who knows?
That's why I was telling the guy the other day is that no disrespect to the people that send me pictures or videos, still send them to me. Even though I don't know you, I still want to see them. I'm still interested. But it just makes people credible anymore with all the technologies out there. It's easy to fake things, and unless you're known. Now Chris brings me a picture and says, "Chris, I got this in Florida when I was on an investigation." I'm going to believe Chris because I know Chris. But now Chris come up to me and be like, "Hey man, I got this on investigation." I'm going to step back a little bit. Am I going to disbelieve him? No. But it's just going to make me wonder, is this fabricated or not? And that's why I said, A, I wasn't there. And two, I didn't take the photograph or video. I mean, you got to be that way. So, but yeah, they
part
need to redo his
of us, we've discussed it as a team, just wondering if how we would approach if we did capture some really substantial videos or pictures, how we'd go about doing that, just because of that simple fact. Would we even release it? You know what I mean? There's definitely a lot of things to consider when you do that. So it's just one of those, you got people that don't believe anything. It doesn't matter what you show them. And
yeah,
reasonably so. I mean, you look at what can be created nowadays. So now you pretty much, just like you say, you got to know somebody and really believe where it came from or know the source 100%
Yeah.
in order to be for sure, you know. So
No,
it's
you're
just the way it
absolutely
is.
right. Need to redo his mask. Yeah, I was laughing at that when you put that down there, Yolanda, about Biden's mask. But now tomorrow, Chris, hopefully this is interesting, ladies and gentlemen. So I got notified like 3 or 4 days ago that we have an actual police officer. I can't say what state or what department, but he actually is coming forward. He was, I think, from my understanding, a non-believer of Bigfoot, and he responded to a call, and he went to the hospital and saw what happened, and he went to the house, and he kind of lost his crap. Basically, he's like, Bigfoots do exist, and this guy that he's coming forward got attacked by one. I'm not going to go into too much details to spoil the encounter, but man, is he risking it coming out? And he's not going to show his face at all. We're changing his name.
He's still on the force,
And
right?
huh?
He's still on the force, right?
Yes, he's still
Yeah.
active. He's still an active police officer. Yes, he's still doing his thing with the police department. So he is like coming out, and I mean, he wants everybody to know that these things are real. So I just can't believe that we actually got him. And I don't know if he's seen one of our shows or something, and it was like, now's the time. You know, I guess he can't wait to get it off his chest. I don't know. Very interesting. I can tell you that. And we explained to him how we could conceal his identity and everything else. I even altered to change his voice if we wanted to. He's like, as long as we don't mention his name, the state, the department, and so forth, or the general area, that, you know, he'll do it. He was on the fence at first.
Right.
So hopefully he still is going to do it. So it's going to be interesting. Just like the Cook County, Tennessee killings, you know, everybody thought, you know, that was Dogman related. And I can see
Yeah.
why people would think that. And, you know, I went into that investigation blinded. And with the evidence that, you know, was presented to me, you know, from the coroner and so forth, you know, it didn't point in that direction, it pointed in other directions. You know, everybody thought that was a new LBL, and you know, it is what it is. You know, the facts will present themselves, and the truth will always prevail. And ladies and gentlemen, if there's a cover up on something, the cover up we'll show it will be a cover up. But there was a cover up on this one, but I don't think it was cryptid related. That's just my professional opinion. I think it was more of internal stuff and relationships and stuff like that within the community and agencies and so forth. Something that's not uncommon to see in small communities and so forth. We see that a lot on our cold cases shows and missing persons, but this one, I don't know, man. Between the Wendigo with Nate, I mean, you know, when I first talked to Nate, it's just, you know, Nate said like it is. You believe or take it. I was there. You know, damn thing chased me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when somebody still doesn't go in the woods, I mean, come on.
No, I mean, I've said it before. There's 4 different levels. There's those that simply don't believe, don't want to believe. Then you got those that are on the fence, maybe, maybe not. Then there's the ones that believe. I guess I fall in that category. I'm pretty sure I know. But then there's the ones that know. If you know, you know. You know what I mean? So if you've experienced it, you've seen it, you can't. Nobody's going to take that away from you. I mean, that's bottom line.
No, you're absolutely right. But I'm glad that Nate and Twisted got on there and told their encounters, you know, because, you know, the more you tell it, the better off you feel, get it off your chest. I mean, I cannot imagine holding it in. I mean, you heard what he said, you know.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think anybody would believe me but you guys. You know,
that's a beautiful thing in this platform or any of these platforms that it's able to let people get it out finally. Imagine holding it for that many years. That's crazy. You know what I mean? It's got to be not even good for you, if anything. So
no,
I'm just
I
like this
couldn't
police
have that
officer.
eating away at me. Yeah,
No.
no, not at all. But ladies and gentlemen, that'll be a wrap for tonight. Barb's been got food poisoning. I meant to introduce that in the beginning. Jackie's playing with me. I feel the energy over my shoulder. It seems like when she gets real active, now my monitors are blinking. So go figure. So yeah, it's been an interesting day, Chris. But yeah, but from coast to coast and around the world, hopefully you're entertained and tune into tomorrow's show. And let's hear this police officer's encounter. And I'll tell you right now, it's pretty graphic, ladies and gentlemen, and what happened. We'll leave it at that. But hopefully we see everybody there, and take care and Godspeed. And we'll see you on the next show, guys.
See you tomorrow.
See you, Chris. Bye.
It's a grizzly.
Should we get out of here?
No, we're gonna watch and listen.
Action.
It's a grizzly.
Oh, shit, should we run?
No.
Action.
It's a grizzly.
Oh, should we run?
Okay. It's a grizzly.
Are you sure it's not a chipmunk? Action. No, I'm out of here. Action.
It's a grizzly.
I'm out of here.
Huh. Maybe it is a chipmunk. It's a grizzly.
Are we gonna die?
I don't know. We're just gonna sit here and listen and watch.
Let's get out of here, maybe.
Fall!